Hello and welcome to 360 Sports on Trust TV. Well, it's a beautiful day out here and we are right here trying to make sure that you get into the thick of the action. A lot happening in the world of sports and we want to make sure you have a front row seat to whatever that is. Lots of action has taken place yesterday. Today we're expecting a lot as well, and of course for the whole week. And this is 360 Sports on Trust TV. I am Ibrahim Yusuf. Welcome to the show. Well, today I'm going to have Yusuf Akogu right here with me in the studio. Yusuf.
Good to be here.
Always nice to have you.
Absolutely.
And together we're going to be talking sports. Exactly.
Absolutely.
There's no bad time to talk sports.
Absolutely.
All right. So we're going to start right from the home front. The Flamingos, they went to India, played fantastic tournament, got the bronze medal, and they came back home. They were welcomed yesterday by members of the NFF and, of course, the Sports Ministry, where the minister actually promised and pledged federal government support to the Flamingos to make sure that they go on to do bigger and better things. Joseph, let's look at the Flamingos first. Let's look at their performance. How would you rate their performance in India? Was it up to expectations? Was it not?
Yeah, I think they did very well. They did very well for themselves. If you look at the fact that this is the first time we're getting a medal at these categories of the competition, I mean the female women World Cup. So they did very well. We had a chance to make it to the final. Unfortunately, that wasn't possible. I think next time we have to do better. I appreciate them; they did so well, but I hope that the government will keep to their promises. This is the first time, and when it comes to age grade competition, Nigeria has always done well. But again, keeping the talent and then nurturing them to grow to the senior level has always been the
because
problem.
That was what the minister was saying. What the minister was saying was that the federal government was to the NFF was going to make sure that they support these girls and these girls go on to be world beaters in the near future. Probably transition into what we're going to have as the Falcons.
Yes, we've had that kind of promises several. I mean, even with the men under 17 World Cup, at the end of the day, you see maybe one or two players from that set going on to make it to the Super Eagles. So this is not the first time. So we hope that this one will become a reality. We have good players in all categories. So I think maybe that is the reason why we're finding it difficult to sustain that. The growth that we actually want. All
right, but still, going back to the tournament now a little bit, I know we talked about this a lot, but it's still something that I think we still need to discuss. Going back to the tournament now, lots of people were critical of the girls' performance against Colombia because we actually expected them to do better, and the performance wasn't really up to scratch. What did you think was the problem? Was it nerves? Were they overwhelmed by the occasion?
I really don't think so. The Colombian girls are also not a pushover, and you have to take that into consideration. But I think we going into the game, I think the odd was in our favor going into that game. But again, because if you look at the fact that we beat the United States of America, one of the giants in female football, then you're facing Colombia. I could recall that some of the guys were saying that if they could beat the US, who is Colombia, but the football is not mathematics, so you can't really. It's not 1 + 1 that you see is equal to 2. Those we saw that Colombian, they read our games, brought their A game into the match, and then dragged that game down to the penalty shootout. Even though we're close to clinching it before we couldn't, eventually it didn't happen. I think I really do not really in any way think that we did badly. The Colombia too also tactically they were very good. So I think we're restricted in a way. Our girls were not allowed to play their games and to play their games that day. So I think that was what happened, and then it is what it is.
Oh, all right, it is what it is actually. But still, let's still talking about the Flamingos before we move on now. You've seen their performances, you've seen the individual players that we actually have. Do you see the fulcrum of this team? Do you see them actually transiting into the Falcons and the Falcons?
Yeah, I think there are a couple of players there that I think like people like Ajakaye and some Bello and so many of them, a few of them. I think they have the quality is there, the potential is there. I think what they need now is I know some of them will be, looking to, get some clubs in Europe and all of that. So by the time they get that kind of opportunity, get access to, quality training facilities, I think there is quality in that team.
Okay.
Quite a whole lot. That's
all right. So now let's move to the football administration side of things. You said we've had these promises before,
exactly.
And right now we're a bit skeptical. Yes, the pronunciation was made by the minister, and we hope it does come to pass. So in a situation whereby these players do not get the support they need and do not get to become world beaters, just like the minister said, what does that say for female football in Nigeria when it comes to the national team? Because we've seen what happened in the female AFCON. You understand? We were dominant in Africa for a very long time.
Exactly.
And then the last one that happened wasn't really that fantastic.
I think the rest of Africans are actually catching up when it comes to female football.
Are they catching up or are we slowing down?
I think they are catching up.
Oh, okay.
The football is developing around the continent.
Okay.
So they are catching up. We're not slowing down.
Okay.
We are still doing very well. Even at the last tournament, I think we lost to South Africa.
Exactly.
So South Africa is coming up very strongly, and then some other countries are also coming up, Morocco and all of them. They are coming up very, very strongly. So I think it's the development of football. I don't think Nigeria is slowing down, considering the fact that if you look at what the Flamingos just did at the World Cup, so I don't think you will say that we're actually slowing down. We've won the first medal for Africa. This is the first medal in female under 17 football for Africa, and it's coming from Nigeria. So it means the development of the football, female football is actually is there actually. But the problem with the promise is, like I said, the minister has less than maybe 6 or 7 months to go. And this government to go. Then what happens when the next government come in? Are they going to keep to the continue from where the minister stopped? So that has always been the problem.
Yeah,
so
but the thing is, we're hoping that whatever is going to come from the ministry is going to go through the NFF, and we just have a brand new NFF board now. And
exactly, but when another minister comes, sometimes the relationship between them
the ministry and the NFF
exactly determines how things develop. So I think that is one of the problems that we also have to look at.
All right. So finally, now before we move away from the Flamingos, what's next for Nigerian female football? Do we have a future?
Of course, future is bright. We have a lot of individual talents. Quite a good number of them. If you go to Bayelsa Queens, Nasarawa Amazon, and so a couple of them. So we have the future is actually very, very bright. I think what we need more sponsorship to come in, so that the over-reliance on governments should just be, in a way, reduced drastically. I think we need sponsorship. We need quite a whole lot from some of the big corporations to come in and then sponsor these games. I think that is the aspect of it. I think the NFF and, of course, the management of female football should be looking at.
Actually, look at the league, for example.
Absolutely, the league. If you look at, I think the new introduction, the African Female
Champions League. Exactly.
That is going. I think we have a representative there.
Yeah.
So I think all those things should also be looked at.
Okay. Well, now bringing that up, still, let's move slightly away from the Flamingos, but we're going to talk about female football generally now in Nigeria. I talked about the female Champions League, the CAF Champions League. Recently. Rivers Angels were our first representatives in the first edition. They weren't that fantastic, you understand. And now we actually have Bayelsa Queens. They are representing Nigeria. How do you see their chances?
I think
because just like you said, the South Africans are actually there. Remember the Sundowns are tearing it up.
Yes, they're very strong side when it comes to female football. I think the problem we have is to develop our local leagues. I think that's the major problem that we have in Nigeria. The local league is very, very porous, but we have some individual players that when you pick one from Bayelsa Queen, pick from River Angels, Nasarawa Amazon, and bring all of them together, give them like 2 or 3 weeks training, they go ahead to become world beaters. I think that we need to invest more in the league. Like if you go to South African leagues, it's in Africa, but they have quality facilities, the management is, top notch, and all of that. I think that is what I think we need to do. I think we need to reduce corruption and so many other things that is slowing down politics and all of that. That is slowing down the local league, both NPFL, both the female league and all of that. I think that is the thing that we need to look at. Even if you look at even in the CAF Champions League, the male competition, our representatives are they're all out of the competition. So this is a product of our league management.
Okay.
So I think they need to go to the drawing board. They need to ask themselves some questions. Since anybody won it,
we've not been able to do anything worthwhile when it comes to the Champions League. All right.
Absolutely.
Well, we need to spend more. We need to do more. We need to improve our league, make sure our league is up to scratch so that we can compete with the rest of Africa, especially when it comes to club football, both on the male and female side. Well, we do hope with the new NFF board, things will be different this time around. Now, moving slightly away from the shores of this country and talk about club football elsewhere. Manchester United fans received some good news over the past couple of hours. News coming in is that David De Gea, now #1 goalkeeper, is willing to take a pay cut in order to extend his Old Trafford contract. That is to stay at Manchester United for a few more years. Well, for a very long time, a lot of people actually say that De Gea was the savior of Manchester United, and that without David De Gea, they would have probably been somewhere in the wilderness of the Premier League.
Yeah.
Do you hold that opinion?
Yes, goalkeeper is as good as his defense.
Okay.
If you don't have a good defense, no matter how good you are as a goalkeeper, there's actually nothing you can actually do. But over the years, David De Gea has tried in his own capacity. He has also let United down in some matches as well. So, kudos to him. Him agreeing to take a pay cut to stay at United, I think is a very good one. It shows his love and passion for the club.
Okay.
Yeah, he's been there for more than 8 years or thereabout. So. And he's been, consistently the #1 goalkeeper for the club. So I think it's a very good one for him. I think he saw the potential with the new manager. So I think the prospect of winning laurels with United is becoming so obvious to him that, look, this is not the time to leave this club. After, with all the years that he suffered, he's still with the club. This is the time to wait and reap the benefit.
At one point, a lot of people are actually scared. United were trying to push him out with bringing in Henderson at one point to be his #2. Well, Henderson got frustrated and left. But now he seems to be like the last bus stop for Manchester United. Not looking at elsewhere, are they?
I think we don't forget that we also have a Hilton in that team, though not a top, not really a bad goalkeeper, if you ask me. So I think, I think every goalkeeper, everybody, every players, they have their time. I think this is the get time at United. So I think Henderson is on loan currently at Nottingham Forest. I think maybe by the time he comes back, he should be patient. Yeah, his time will certainly come. Sometimes, some say the goalkeeper, they get better
with
age, absolutely. So. I think this is the get time. I think we need to allow him.
All right, so let's talk about Manchester United generally, just a little bit now. Let's focus on Manchester United and move away from David De Gea. Anyway, let's talk about Manchester United. They're having a topsy-turvy season when it comes to the Premier League. They're fantastic 1 minute, the next minute there's a problem somewhere. You can't really figure it out what they're trying to do. You have the Ronaldo issue with Ten Hag going back and forth and all that. Do you think these are distractions that they could do without? Do you think that they should kick Ronaldo out of that team to be able to have the balance that they require?
I really don't think kicking Ronaldo out of the team is a solution.
Okay.
I think what is the solution? It should be, let's know who is the captain of the team.
Okay.
as in who is in charge of the team.
Who's in charge? Okay, if he was the captain, it's actually Maguire.
So I'm looking at the situation whereby you have two captains in a ship.
Okay.
You understand? So it's going to be a problem. I think that is what Den Hag is trying to avoid.
Okay, but did they make a mistake by not letting him go last summer?
I really don't think there was any mistake because right from the onset, the manager did made it clear that he wants Ronaldo in his plan.
Okay.
But what Ronaldo needs to understand is that, look, he's not the Ronaldo of 20 years ago, or 15 or 10 years ago.
Okay.
Age is already catching
up. But he can
still make a difference. He's 38.
But he can still make a difference.
He can make a difference, but he's 38. We've seen differences in some of his matches compared to what he used to do in those days. So we see him missing goals that he ordinarily Ronaldo will not miss. So he is doing that now. So he should understand that, look, you can't do this thing forever.
Okay.
There is time for everything.
Okay.
So him not coming on in that game, or even when he was asked to warm up and come in, and then he refused not to. He declined to come on. I think it was really it was disrespectful, and I think he was punished for that. I think I applaud the manager for that, because now the other players will now look at it. So if Ronaldo could be punished, then anyone else can be punished.
Okay.
You understand? So I think I don't think there's any mistake.
So the bottom
you said what?
The bottom line is no one is bigger than the club.
No one is bigger than the club. That has been like that. United has always been like that. Remember the era of David Beckham and the rest, James Tam and so many of them. So United has always been like that. And if you look at the performance so far this season, I think the manager is trying to bring his own tactics, introduce his own philosophy, his own kind of play into the team. He brought in some players that he was used to at Ajax, and in a way, I think it's beginning to work for him.
Okay.
The players are now playing for each other. There is that mutual respect. There is that belief that we can actually do it.
So if I understand you now, you believe Ten Hag is the man for Manchester United?
From what he has done so far. I believe he's the best
okay,
for the
well,
club.
strong words there from Yusuf right here in the studio, saying Ten Hag is the right man for Manchester United, and for a lot of Manchester United fans there, they are hoping that David De Gea will be able to sign a long-term contract. Speaking of long-term things, the Champions League was back, and we had a lot of matches played yesterday, and of course some groups were sorted out. Those ones that were not sorted out already, Tottenham sneaking in, beating Marseille by 2-1 after a horrendous performance. But they actually made it through. Napoli lost their 100% record, going down 2-0 to Liverpool. Rangers, a woeful showing from Rangers in this Champions League. They went down 3-1 to Ajax. And of course, Leverkusen Club Brugge is 0-0. FC Porto beat Atletico de Madrid by 2-1. Bayern Munich beat Inter by 2-0. Victoria Pilsen lost 2-4 to Barcelona, while Marseille, just as we alluded to earlier, were beaten 2-1 by Tottenham. Sporting Lisbon got beaten by Eintracht Frankfurt at home to actually close out the group stages. One of the major takeaways, was there any surprise for you in these results for last night?
The surprise result for me, surprisingly, is Liverpool win against Napoli.
Okay.
I didn't see it coming.
Yeah, maybe well, lots of people actually thought that Napoli took it easy on them because they had already qualified.
Absolutely. They play very well. Liverpool got those 2 goals in the last 10 minutes of the game.
Yeah.
It was a scrappy win, but it's good for them. They both qualified on 15 points apiece.
Okay.
So it's a good one.
Let's talk a little bit about Napoli. Napoli this season have been on imperious form. I think Spalletti has gotten the magic wand now, and he's making Napoli the Napoli that we used to know, the Maradona days.
Napoli.
Exactly,
Absolutely.
the Napoli of the Maradona days, and they actually believe that they could have their first Scudetto since that era. They've scored 20 goals in the Champions League so far, conceding 6, I think, with the 2 they conceded yesterday, showing impressive form. How far do you think Napoli can go in this tournament?
I think coming into this competition, they were the underdog.
Okay.
But with what they've done so far in the group stage, I don't think anybody is going to take them lightly anymore. So I think they can go far. What to actually determine, although they are topping the group, so that means they're going to get an easy draw, so to say, in the round of 16. So I think they will go very far in this competition. The passion there, the energy, and then if you see Victor Osimhen and the way he's playing football, you wonder whether this guy is from Nigeria. So this is a compact team. I think they have a very
absolutely impressive. Well, we can take a look at the groups now for the matches that were actually played yesterday, or some of the groups that were actually sorted out. That's right, Napoli 15 points, Liverpool 15 points as well, Ajax on 6 points, and Rangers way down there.
They created,
goal difference of minus 20. I mean, like it's
a record in UCL.
Exactly, it's the worst record that could have
actually
actually been had. So I think that is actually woeful. Napoli, they are sitting pretty and going to the next round of the Champions League. Let's look at other groups as well that were sorted out yesterday. FC Porto topping the group there. We actually thought Brugge were going to get it. They've been in fantastic form. How about Brugge this season? Yeah,
in their last 2 games, they were really taught UCL lesson.
Yeah. Yeah, but how good have they been so far?
So far, so good. If you look at their first 4 games in the competition, they did very well, winning some matches that you wouldn't expect them to win. So that's why they were able to amass this, all these points and then qualify for the round of 16.
And you can see Atletico Madrid way down there at the bottom.
That's the worst performance in years. Nobody expected that when the group was made. So, it's so unbelievable.
Do you think this could be the beginning and the end for Diego Simeone?
I do not think so.
Okay.
He's been there for a very long time. He's been chasing this title for years. He's not been able to get it. I don't know when he's going to do that. I don't think the Atletico Madrid has any plan to let him go anytime soon.
Okay, well, I think he's one of the highest earners, if not the highest earners, when it comes to managers in Europe. So yes, I don't think it's a job that he would want to let go anytime soon. Well, looking at the other groups there in the Champions League, so that we can actually Bayern. Inter and of course Barcelona coming in third, going to the Europa League, and of course, as expected, Victoria Pilsen bringing up the rear. But still, their performances were not as woeful as that of Rangers. Rangers absolutely horrendous. Bayern Munich, the only team with 100% record.
Yes. But Victoria Pilsen and Rangers, they're both going out of the competition with 0 points.
Exactly.
So there's actually no difference anyway. Just the difference is just in terms of maybe goals considered. Considered. But the Bayern Munich. Is anybody surprised? Nobody. So I think the group where you have Barcelona, Inter Milan, and Bayern Munich, and they were able to still achieve 100% record.
Yeah.
I think they are a team to beat in this year's competition.
Do you think they can go all the way?
Absolutely. With the money factor is.
So you're giving it to Bayern already.
It's for them to lose.
All right, so let's take a look at the final group now and look at those standings and see how it actually went down. This group actually went to the wire because it was decided yesterday. As of yesterday, anybody could go out and anybody could qualify. Fortunately enough for Tottenham Hotspur, they were able to sneak in by a point. It was a woeful performance. They were pinned in for most of the game. Marseille actually threw everything at them, including the kitchen sink. Unfortunately, they couldn't get it. And 95th minute winner by Højbjerg actually sealed it for Tottenham Hotspur. A lot of people have complained about Conte's Tottenham, that they are not as entertaining as Tottenham should be. And it's going against the philosophy of the club, not playing open, entertaining football. I like the use, and he's too conservative for them. Do you subscribe to that school of thought as well?
Yeah, I think Conte is concerned about the results.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the result that is the goals, that win your matches. So no matter how you play, remember Mourinho in those days. You say nobody remember how beautiful you play.
Exactly.
They look at how many trophies you've won.
So the performance doesn't matter?
It doesn't really matter.
Okay.
But if you look at the league, they have been fantastic in the league, apart from 1 or 2 matches that they were not that, they didn't come to the party. They've been doing so well. Maybe, I think Conte is focusing more on the league than the UCL. He knows he can't win the UCL.
Okay.
So, but if he can win the league for Tottenham, that would be a very big achievement for them.
If he doesn't win the league, and he doesn't win any other thing this season, do you see him staying beyond this season?
I think he can. He will see.
Because I was listening to Tim Sherwood yesterday, and he was like, if Conte does not win anything this season, he actually does not believe that he will be able to stay beyond this season.
Then you have to look at the competition.
Okay.
You can't just pick him out and say he's competing in the league. There you have Chelsea, you have Manchester City, Manchester United is coming up strong. Arsenal is topping the league, and they are also coming up there. So you cannot say if he didn't win that then he has not done something. So he's doing so well with the team. Tottenham has not really been this close. The last time they came close was in 2012 when they came second to Leicester City. Yeah. Absolutely. So I don't really think you can take anything away from him. Moreover, Mourinho qualified them to FA Cup finals. He was not allowed to play the finals, and they lost eventually. So their trophy drought continue. So I really do not think Conte has done badly, both in Europe and in the league. Depends on what his focus is on at the moment.
All right. So just like we said, that group actually went to the wire. Finally, Tottenham actually able to sneak in, and Marseille right there down, bringing up the rear, which is looking at Marseille's pedigree when it comes to European football. I think it's a real downer for most people.
Yeah, in a way, it's down. But if you look at the group again, I don't think anybody is surprised by Tottenham and Frankfurt. Going through. So I don't think anybody is surprised. Because,
but what about Sporting? I mean, like a lot of people thought Sporting would have given a very good run for their money.
Yeah, I think they did very well. They did very well, but unfortunately for them, their best wasn't really good enough. So I think that is why they are now in the Europa League. So I think I'm not surprised.
Yeah, well, it's a very tight group when you look at it. 5 points separating the entire team. I mean, like it's one of the tightest.
It was the tightest. It was the tightest group. It was close. If you look at the team, they are all average teams from their leagues. But if you look at the league pedigree, then you know that you won't be surprised that Tottenham from the EPL and the Frankfurt from the Bundesliga, those two leagues are actually superior if you compare them to the French and then the Portuguese league. So I'm not surprised at the outcome.
So how far do you think Tottenham will go this season?
They are topping the group, which means they might get easier draw, maybe Inter Milan.
Is that really an easy? Is that really an easy draw? Is that really an easy draw when you look at it?
Maybe Conte going against his former club. It's possible.
Yeah, okay.
You know, so it might be look on the paper an easier draw for them, but they know it's not an easier draw. So it's going to be a very difficult one. So let's see what's going to happen.
All right. Well, let's see what's going to happen.
I don't see them going far anyway.
Oh, really?
Yes, in the competition. Yes.
Not even to the quarterfinals?
It depends on who they play in the round of 16.
Okay. All right. Well, let's see what happens. And of course, the Champions League rolls on. And that's unfortunately how we are going to wrap it up right here on 360 Sports on Trust TV. Just hoping you had an amazing time, because we did have a blast right here in the studio. Yusuf Akogu, thank you very much for coming on the show.
Always a pleasure.
Always nice to have you here.
Thank you very much.
All right. So we've talked sports, and we will continue to do that. Do well to follow us on all our social media platforms to actually get nothing but the very best. I am Ibrahim Yusuf. Have a lovely day.